So for tonight's homework, I wanted to do number 9, which is this problem here. Y equals 2 plus 2 sine of 3 theta minus pi over 6. All right, it just asked us to graph it. But I wanted to go through and do all of these: amplitude, period, phase shift, vertical shift, maximum and minimum, because you really need that information in order to do the graph. And also you're going to need to be able to find all of this information for your quiz tomorrow. So let's start here. The amplitude is just this number right here, A. It's the number right in front of the sine. And so the amplitude is going to be 2. The period is 2 pi, since we're in radians, 2 pi divided by this number here, so 3. So 2 pi divided by 3 is our period. The phase shift is going to be this number divided by this number, so C divided by B. So pi over 6 divided by 3 is the same as pi over 6 multiplied by 1/3. So this is going to be pi over 18 is our phase shift. And since it's negative, our shift is going to the right. Remember, it goes the opposite direction of what we would expect. So this is to the right. And the vertical shift, one of the reasons that I chose to do this problem is because this messes some people up. This plus 2 out in the front, that's going to be our vertical shift. We're used to seeing this plus 2 at the end of the equation, but it really doesn't matter. Remember that addition is commutative. You could put it in either of these positions. It doesn't matter. You can 2 plus 2 sine is the same as 2 sine plus 2. All right, so our vertical shift is just up 2. And then the maximum, to find the maximum, our midline is going to be at 2, since we've shifted up 2. That vertical shift takes our midline, which is normally at 0, and shifts it up to 2. So our midline is at y equals 2. And to find the maximum, we're going to add our amplitude to the midline. So 2 plus 2 is going to give us a maximum of 4. To find the minimum, we're going to take that midline and subtract our amplitude. So 2 minus 2 gives us a minimum of 0. All right, so now let's start to graph it. We're going to start with the midline, which we've drawn here. And it's a sine function. So we know our first point that we're going to put on here is on the midline. But since there's a phase shift, we're not going to put it right at 0, but this phase shift is really small. It's just pi over 18 radians. So we're going to shift to the right pi over 18 radians, which is just this tiny little bit. So that's our first point. We're going to be back to the midline after 1 period. So the period is 2 pi over 3. So we got to go 2 pi over 3 from pi over 18, which is going to be just a little bit shy of 3 pi over 4. So this is 2 pi over 3 radians. It's pi over 18 plus 2 pi over 3 is 13 pi, or pi over 18 plus 2 pi over 3 gives us 13 pi over 18, which is just a hair shy of 3 pi over 4. All right, and then we're also going to be on the midline right in the middle there. So between those 2 points, we'll be on our on the midline, and then between these 2 points, we'll reach our maximum of 4, and between these 2 points, we'll reach our minimum of 0. And then this same thing is going to. The same pattern will continue on that way, so you're going to get a sine function that looks like that.